Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from in the world. Welcome to Motorland Aragon. It is a very, very warm day here. Already the air temperature is 24 degrees. There's very little wind, and as you can see from those shots, it is very, very hot at this circuit. I've arrived at the track for a couple of days now. It's been baking, blisteringly hot. 38 degrees it got up to yesterday. That hasn't detracted from the riders being out on circuit. We saw a fantastic day of practice and qualifying. This is the third race of the season for the Yamaha R3 BLU CRU World Cup. My name is Michael Hill, and it's my absolute pleasure to once again be guiding you through this 9-lap race around this circuit that was built in 2009. It is a couple of hours away from Barcelona, on the outskirts of the beautiful town of Alcañiz. And there we see now, for the first time today, live pictures of the 23 riders that are making their way out to the grid for this quick start procedure. 23 riders from 11 nationalities will be taking part and fighting as they begin their journey on the SBK roadway, looking to follow in the footsteps of Alessandro De Persio, the Italian who won the championship in 2025. Pole position when we get to the grid will be taken by Charlie Mendes, and Charlie now has the honour of having 2 pole positions in consecutive races. He took pole position at the opening round at Balaton Park a few weeks ago, and he's done it again. He will be joined on the front row of the grid by the number 18, which is Riichi Takahira. He did a great job yesterday, and Emanuele Pastori, the young Italian who was on the podium and fighting very, very strongly also last year, as well as in the opening round in Hungary. He too will be on the front row of the grid. If you are new to the BLU CRU World Cup, and you will hear me mentioning this as we get our first look at the grid, then there is how it will look with Mendes, Takahira and Pastori, Rintaro Takamoto, Leonardo Marcus and Kakaru Okanuki. Keep your eyes out on Okanuki, he was very quick here last year. Angelo Motola, who was on the podium for the first time in round 1 this season, heads up row number 3. Hinata Okada and Jin Kenzo Turner, 2 Japanese riders on row 4. Nathan Betancourt, give a shout out to the first of 2 Americans. Fantastic ride yesterday from Betancourt. A couple of issues in free practice, but he put it together in qualifying. And Chris Clark also back on row 5. And in fact, yeah, row 5, I was right the first time. Francesco Perez, Rogero Berti, Greg Marshall, Charlie Huntingford and Federico Guimarães from Portugal. But as I was saying, 11 nationalities on the grid. Japan are the nation that are best represented this year with 5 riders, as we get a look there at the number 6 of the poleman, Charlie Mendes. Charlie got a win in race number 2 at the opening round of the championship. Keep your eyes out too for Eamon Boccanegra, because he was also very, very quick. In fact, he was the winner of the first race of the season. If you didn't see that, you can check it out on the Yamaha Racing official social media channels. All the races from this season and previous seasons, in fact, are all available to look at. Boccanegra, then, who won the first race, will start from P8. Local interest, well, there's only 1 Spanish rider on the grid this year, and that is Mauro Gomez, running under number 7. And Mauro Gomez, a very, very likeable young rider, races with spectacles. He's the only rider on the track that does choose to race with glasses. Got to know him a little bit last year in the ESBK Championship, and he is a very, very quick competitor as well. As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, as we get a look then at Riichi Takahira, the number 18, riding for the Tianyu Asia Racing team. Very distinctive helmet. In fact, all of the Japanese riders have distinctive helmets, which makes it very, very easy to spot them out on the circuit. So, as I said, Japan are the most represented nation with 5 riders. Italy have 4, Brazil have 3. 2 riders from Portugal, the United States of America and the United Kingdom, and then Austria, the Netherlands, Spain, Switzerland and the Dominican Republic each have 1 sole representative on the grid. So this is a 16-turn track. It is a fantastic facility. If you've ever been to Motorland Aragon over the years, it's not just the racing circuits that you see now on track, but also they have a huge motorsport complex here, taking in enduro and go-karting and a whole host of workshops. In fact, a number of teams actually choose to base themselves out of the Motorland Aragon facility. So this is a 9-lap race once we get going. Temperature already creeping up. It's almost now nearly 25 degrees, so in just a few minutes that I've been talking, it is getting very, very hot. And there is a nice crowd down here in the paddock, despite these blistering conditions. Quite a lot of them drinking cool drinks and eating ice creams, which is making me quite jealous if I take a look over my shoulder. But they're all eagerly anticipating the first race of the weekend. Championship then, as I said, started in Balaton. We go Aragon here at round 2, then to Donington Park. A couple of the riders at Donington will also be taking part in various activities for the Two Wheels for Life charity. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the UK round, but very much looking forward to seeing these youngsters supporting a good cause. And then we go into the summer break, several weeks off for these 23 riders. The championship will resume at Magny Cours in France before heading to Cremona with the season finale in Estoril. Championship began in 2021. There's been 23 individual winners. The top 4 from last year have all moved on to pastures new. Probably the most notable being Aldi Mahendra, who didn't move on from last year, but he has come through this program. He, of course, the first Indonesian rider ever to win for Yamaha the World Championship in Supersport 300, and of course delighted his nation when he did so. A couple of riders, as I said, from last year also moving on, including Gonzalo Sanchez Melendez, Araya Gasca and Alessandro De Percio. That's the championship as it stands then. Mendez has a 4-point lead. Binder, who from Switzerland, got his first ever podium in the last round. A little crash in free practice 1 for Binder. He is okay. I saw him yesterday talking to his teammate Chris Clark down in the BLU CRU village, which is a great part of the paddock, of course. The World Superbike paddock is an open policy. You can walk around and mingle with the stars from all of the racing categories. So if you are at a future race, go down and see the stars of the future. Right then, it is time to get serious. The first race of the weekend here at Motorland Aragon. Blisteringly hot conditions. The mechanics and the teams can now look on. Mendez, Takahira, Pastore, Takamoto, Marquez and Okanuki wait for the lights. The first 9-lap race of the weekend is underway, and it's a good start from all of the riders, including the white helmet there of the poleman from the Dominican Republic. They head down into turn 1. There's only a couple of 100 meters before they get hard on the brakes. And do they all make it through? Couple of lunges a little bit further back, a little bit wide. There goes one of the Brazilian riders, but Mendez has converted that pole into the whole shot. You don't see it on the cameras, but this is a very, very steep incline as the riders now head up, and it looks like that is Takahira having a look on the inside, and it is. The Japanese rider has made his move at turn 3. The circuit is still rising here. It's still climbing. You can't see it from the camera, but it is a very, very steep climb as they now come through turn 4, into turn 5, and then through turn 6 and into turn 7, and we're heading towards what I call the reverse corkscrew. For those of you that are familiar with the Laguna Seca Raceway in the United States of America, as there's another change of lead as they enter the reverse corkscrew. They go right and left, the long lap loop on the left-hand side, if anybody was to be given a penalty. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but at the moment this 23-strong field is all together around the very, very long turn 9 and turn 10. You can run wide there, of course. You will hear me talking about track limits, and that was Mendez that just got that a little bit wrong. Of course, there is only red paint at that part of the circuit, so no issues there. That's the green on the left-hand side of your screen. If the rider was to touch that, that would be deemed as track limits. But as I said, at the moment, they're all keeping this on the island, and they're all racing pretty respectively with each other into the chicane then through turn 14 and 15, and then now down this almost 1 kilometer long straight. And it is Takahira that leads. The 55 of Emanuele Pastore has gone up into second place. What a great start to the season that he is having. And now you see that snake. They move from left to right. Slipstream taking great effect here. All identical machines as they head into the braking zone at turn number 16. And oh, again, it's very, very brave to go around the outside. If you watched the races here last year, I remember young Chris Clark, the American, passed 3 or 4 people there around the outside, and there is Chris Clark. Talk about the number 5. He's already on the back of this group. What an incredible start from Chris Clark then. He's going to go to the left-hand side of the picture, and they're going to be 5, 6 abreast down into turn 1. Mottler has a look on the inside. There's not much room again, and somehow they all make it through. Brilliant start then. It's now Marquez that is leading. Leonardo Marquez from Brazil, Takahira in second, then it's Pastore, Jean Kento Turner, and before I even get a chance to get to the position number 5, it's already changed, and the leader, Marquez, is now shuffled back into 6th place. The poleman, Charlie Mendes. Oh, and in the back of the picture, several riders have gone down there. That's 3 or 4 riders that came together, and there are now a couple of riders on the floor. And let's just wait and see who that was. That has split the group just a little bit. And I think that was Okanuki. And Okanuki's gone down for the 2nd time in 3 races. And that is confirmation. Oh, and it was the Spanish rider as well. So Gomez, Okanuki and Santana are all out of this race. And, well, we're going to get a replay, I'm sure, at some point. But disaster on lap number 2 of 9, as 3 of that leading group are on the floor. Bocanegra in that leading group. Keep your eyes on the white helmet there, just towards the back, is the number 5 of Chris Clark. Spoke to him yesterday, and he's quite a cheeky young man, and says, I just can't qualify, I just never get it right. And he says that with a bit of a wry smile, because in the past he has had some very good qualifying results, to be fair to the young American teenager. But yesterday, it was one of those sessions yesterday, as we see another little look on the inside there from Jean Kento Turner. Another one of the riders that is back in the championship for a 2nd season. So it's Japan 1st and 2nd. Then it is Eamon Bocanegra, who has also now joined this party, started from 8th position. Down the max straight we go once again, and we have a number of returning riders this year. 11 riders are back in this series. Such is its popularity. If you weren't listening, as I said, to the broadcast for the first round, I was quite lucky to go to the training camp, the season launch for this great championship, as again they go 3, 4, 5 abreast towards the line. And then let's have a look at it. Would be a 0.052, 52 100ths of a second between them, as Pastore now slots back up into 2nd place. And again, this leading group of 10 or 11 riders are all absolutely together here. A little bit further back, the final point scorer at the moment is Nathan Betancourt. So both American riders currently in the points. But coming back to what I was going to say about the season launch, not only are these riders given identical machines from Yamaha, but there's a whole program that goes on behind the scenes, as we see Germano there with the fastest lap, 2:13.8. It's about 1.5 seconds slower than the lap record, and that is to be expected, to be fair, with these hot conditions. But it's a great program that Yamaha put together, also training these young athletes in nutrition and what to eat and how to train properly, and of course a whole host of media training as well, which will definitely stand them in good stead as they progress up this SBK roadway and wherever their futures may hold. All of these riders as well have come through their relative domestic championships. Takahira Turner, for example, racing in Japan. Pastore came through the Italian BLU CRU Championship, and around the outside there was that Turner. I think it possibly was. Very, very brave. Goes from 3rd into 2nd place, and the position's changing more quickly. In fact, it was Mendes. My apologies, didn't recognize the number there. Looked very, very similar to the number 3. But the position's changing so fast that our TV graphics personnel can't keep up with the action. And again, Mendes is just starting to take a few risks here, as down the back straight we go. We're only on lap number 3. If you are just joining us, my name is Michael Hill. Welcome to Motorland Aragon. Get in touch with us, get involved with the action. If you've got any questions about any of these riders, if you're wanting to give any shout-outs in tomorrow's races, you can do. Oh, again, very close through that final corner. Mendes taking a few unnecessary risks in these early stages. But you can get in touch with Yamaha official, or Yamaha Racing official. They're on all of the various social media platforms, and again, we'd love to get all of you watching around the world involved. Look at that, 7 abreast into turn 1. Who's going to be the bravest this time? And all of this racing action is just keeping the group together. The number 21 there, that is Hinata Okada. Another one of the Japanese riders that now also sets the fastest lap, and again through on the inside was that Pastore. Boccanegra in the lead, and again there's going to be a change through turn 4 and 5. It's very, very tight there just to squeeze your way through. Binder up into 7th place now, so keep an eye on the number 85 as well, Mottler 77. So pretty much all of the fancied runners here, the guys that were at the sharp end in the opening 2 races at Balaton Park in Hungary, are all in this leading group. The top 12 riders are covered by 1.4 seconds. That's how close this racing is. Championship that began back in 2021 with Spain's Iker Garcia taking the win. Spain have had 2 champions, Mark Veach winning it as well in 2024. Italy, their first title coming courtesy of Emiliano Ercolani. And again, they go 3 abreast, almost into the hoarding there, which is counting down from 300 meters down to the braking zone. But again, they all make it through. I've got to say, it's hard racing here in Motorland Aragon, but it's been pretty fair at the moment. We haven't seen really any elbow banging. But for those that are waiting for that, you're not going to have to wait too much longer, I am sure, because they usually really do get the elbows out with a couple of laps remaining. So then, Takamoto leads from Boccanegra, Takahira, Mendes, Pastore, Turner, Binder, Clark, Okada, Mottler and Marquez, now all covered by 0.9 of a second. Down the back straight we go again, and again they fan out, and this time it's Pastore having a look on the inside, and a little look on the inside too by the number 5 of Chris Clark. And Clark now has moved up another position, so Clark is slowly working his way forward here. A lot of experience, and there goes Clark darting to the inside. He's going to get a 3-bike slipstream, and he now puts himself on the inside for the braking zone. Look for the number 5, here he comes. Oh, that's going to be a brave move there for Clark. He's going to pass 1, 2, he does. He makes up another position. And for those fans that were here last year, this is a carbon copy of what we saw from young Chris Clark last year. As I said, not the bestest of qualifiers, but my goodness me, when the lights go out, he knows how to race, and he's now up into the top 6. Just letting everybody else fight it out. Turner again goes back to the inside. Brilliant race, this. Through the little kink, and on these R3 machines, they are flat out, just under 50 horsepower, so certainly plenty fast enough for these young riders to learn their racecraft. And I think the format for this championship as well, if you are not familiar with it, they get a practice session on a Friday morning, as through the reverse corkscrew we go again. They get 1 qualifying session, and then they get 2 races, which I think is absolutely brilliant, because it does allow them to race, which is obviously what we are trying to train them for, to obviously see them move up the ladder. And as we said, all of the riders that have moved on, as again there's a little move on the inside from Boccanegra, and Boccanegra goes to the inside, Turner goes to the outside, and you just get a little glimpse there of the undulation. There is the 18 of Riichi Takahira, I have to say, is doing a really good job here. Boccanegra just gets a little bit squeezed. There's a little lunge there. Was that Okada on the number 21? Just casting my eyes back to last year. You do not want to lead on the last lap. In fact, last year it was Clark sitting in P5, which is where he is now, and Clark ended up leading into the final corner. The slipstream here in this little class really does play a huge, or give a huge advantage, as again Turner right out to the curbs there, and Mendes trying to follow him. Mendes switches back to the inside. Oh, that was beautiful. That was like a knife through butter from the number 6, and Turner is not being intimidated. He leans on him. Oh, now they do touch. That's the first bit of contact then that we've seen so far, and now Chris Clark is going to come through as well. They're almost touching, 4 abreast, 5 abreast, 6 abreast, down into turn 1, and we're on the halfway point now. This is fantastic racing, and what this has done, ladies and gentlemen, it's now brought the group back together, and Clark now is on the curb, and that's going to shuffle him all the way back to maybe 11th or 12th position. 15th position, the leading 15 are all now covered by 0.910 of a second across the line, and this has now brought Betancourt into the mix. So the leading group of 10, they had a 1.3 second lead. That has now gone, and we now have the leading 15 riders covered by 1.014 seconds. There is Chris Clark riding for the Panettone BGR Schmerz team, a team that is run and coordinated by the former 250 Grand Prix rider and former Superbike poleman and podium finisher Jakub Kuba Schmerz. A lot of experience, and he's actually helping 3 riders in this race. He's also helping Binder from Switzerland and Angelo Motola, who was on the podium in the last round, and made a bit of a joke with him at the start of the season. I said, yeah, you're one of only 2 teams that run 3 riders. We've never seen one team with all 3 riders on the podium. Would that happen at any point during the season? And he just gave me a little wry smile and said, we'll have to wait and see. But clearly, at the moment, there's absolutely nothing that Jakub Schmerz or any of the team can do. It's down now to the riders, and Clark has made his way back up into 10th place from being in 15th. Number 9 now takes his turn to lead, and that is Leonardo Marques from Brazil, riding in the same team as Bocanegra and Heitor Santana, the Yamaha AD78 team. And look at what this would do to the championship. And again, around the outside there goes the number 6 of Charlie Mendes. Mendes would still lead the championship, 25 points for the win. So there would still be 4 within that leading, with the chance, should I say, to take the lead in the championship tomorrow. But like I said, anything can happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 abreast now, and Clark has just suddenly appeared from absolutely nowhere and somehow makes the corner. That was sensational. Chris Clark goes from 7th to 1st at turn 1, and you can't see it on the TV screens, but his young brother is stood down here looking at me going, what just happened there? Well, Brian, your brother just passed 6 people on the brakes into turn 1. That's what happened just there, young man. Fantastic race, this. 3 laps remaining, and I tell you what, there's a lot of people down here in the fan zone enjoying this one. Motola now into the top 10. There's a rider down in the back of the picture. We've lost somebody in the back of the picture there. One of the leading group has now gone from the leading group. 3 laps remaining. And Chris Clark has passed 14 people in a lap and a half. He means business this weekend. Unfortunately, made a mistake in race 2 in Hungary and went down on the warm-up lap, which, of course, is never ideal. But this is the move. Watch this, down into turn 1. Oh, he went to the inside. He didn't go to the outside. That's what caught me out. I was looking to the left. 2 riders with white helmets. He went to the inside. And we've got another rider out of this race. Oh, and that is the Austrian Daniel Krabacher, who has gone down. What a shame for young Danny. Has been making real progress in the first couple of races this year. And unfortunately, he is now out of this race. The race at the front then is continuing. Clark leads. Now, see down here what I was talking about, the slipstream. Look at this. He hasn't even got halfway down the straight, and he's already now being swallowed up, and he will be aware of that. Slots now back into 2nd or 3rd place. Turn is going to come, and this is what happened last year. He's now going to get swamped into the final corner. Oh, and he gets the elbows out and somehow manages to hang on. And again, around the outside, look how brave the number 5 is. And for there's a couple of fans that come to a lot of the races down here. This is what we saw last year, folks. Across the line, Takahira from Turner. Binder has now joined this party. I'll remind you that Binder scored his first ever podium. And again, Clark gets a little bit wide into turn 1. That sits up one of the 2 of the other riders. And there is the number 27, who we haven't mentioned in this race. That is Indy Schunselaar. Schunselaar, who also did a wildcard on a Yamaha in the Netherlands in the Sport Bike World Championship this year. And another rider that is really making nice moves and progressing nicely in his career. Good to see. Featured in a little video that I did as well, which you can check out on social media. Both him and Nathan Betancourt, as we've got a lap and a half to go in this race, and you can now start to see a few moves being made here. The riders are starting to think about where they want to position themselves for this run for the podium challenge. There's 14 riders in this leading group. Only 3 of them can stand on the podium. Fastest lap of this race is still Okada with a 2:13.3. That would have been quick enough for the front row of the grid in yesterday's qualifying session. So despite these conditions, It is a very, very fast race as Motorland now goes through on the inside. The white helmet there of Angelo Motola got his first ever podium, as I said, in the opening race. And he has now slotted into, what is that, 4th place, I think, possibly? We'll wait for the graphic just to confirm. 1 lap and a half remaining. And it was Binder again. Apologies, so hard to see the numbers here on these bikes, but the TV graphics guy is doing a great job. Down the back straight we go then for the penultimate time. Mendes, who started from pole position in Hungary and took a win. He started from pole position here. Can he take a win here as well? In towards turn 16. The leading 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 riders then all together. It's going to be a 1-lap shootout around this Motorland Aragon circuit. Hold your breath, folks. Here we go then. A little over 2 minutes and 10 seconds to decide the winner of the 3rd race of the season from the Yamaha R3 BLU CRU World Cup. Into turn 1. They all safely make it through. And again, that was Pastore on the green. He's going to have to be careful there. There will be track limits penalties given out at the end of this race if you are seen to give an advantage. Keep your eyes on Takahira and Clark, and Mendes on pole position was leading. He's now back into 7th place as Leonardo Marquez now goes up into the lead of this race, looking for a career best result. The young Brazilian, they all avoid the green. We're on the final lap of this race. If you're just joining us, Michael Hill commentating live from the paddock show stage here in the fan zone at Motorland Aragon. Oh, and Indy Schunselaar has now crashed out of this race. He's not going to score any points in this one. In towards the reverse corkscrew. It's getting a little bit tight there. They go 2 abreast. No way through. It would be a 3-point lead, and Eamon Boccanegra would take the lead in the championship. There would only be 23 points between them. For me, Binder, Mendes and Clark are in absolutely the right position here. Marquez is going to get swallowed up, and he already is getting swallowed up as they come down in towards turn 12. And Pastore thinks about it. There's a couple of people just being a bit hesitant there, and that is because nobody wants to lead down the back straight. They do not want to be 1st or 2nd. Pastore makes a break for it, and again you see there Boccanegra, and there goes Clark around the outside again. Oh, that's very tight. Look at them. Nobody wants to lead. Nobody wants to lead down the back straight. It's a game of cat and mouse. Whoa, and down. There's a crash coming out of the chicane there as they now head down the back straight. That may have been Binder. Let's wait and see. Slipstream now is taking... Oh, and it was Boccanegra. Boccanegra, who was fighting for the lead in the championship, is now on the floor. In towards the final corner. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? It's going to be a photo finish. Takahira goes, whoa, and a huge moment there for Okada. Somehow he stays on. How he stays on is beyond me as they head towards the line, and it is going to be a photo finish. And I think it could be a 1st career win for Emanuele Pastore. Let's wait and see. And in fact, our TV graphics has it as a dead heat. Let's wait then. There's a red flag come out as well. Chris Clark in 7th, Binder in 6th. As we now wait to see the result of this race. What a race that was. Unofficially then, Emanuele Pastore, Leonardo Marquez, and Hinata Okada would be the podium, but let's wait for confirmation. Here's a replay down into this last chicane, and of course race direction will look at this. Did they touch? No, they didn't touch. He just got run out of road. He tried to brave it around the outside, and again, I'm not in race direction. I would say that was a racing incident. Thankfully he is up on his feet, which is good to see. The applause there from the marshals as well, thoroughly appreciating that. And again, they're talking to each other. They don't know who won the race either. But I think it was Hinata Okada in 3rd position. Leonardo Marquez from Brazil in 2nd. And Emanuele Pastore, I think, has just taken his 1st win. And if that is the case, he becomes the 24th winner in this series. That would also be the case as well if Marquez is classified as the winner. So whatever happens, we have a new winner and it would be the 24th rider to do so since this series began in 2021. There is Marcus, the young teenager. We are still just waiting for confirmation, and well, I didn't even realize you could do a wheelie. Oh, that's not, oh, now you're just showing off. Now you're just showing off. That is absolutely fantastic, and we are having it confirmed. Pastore, the winner, from Leonardo Marquez and Hinata Okada. Absolutely superb. So Italy and Brazil and Japan, and there is the confirmation. And I have to say, as celebratory wheelies go, that was absolutely brilliant. Let's give you a rundown then, if we can, while we wait for the riders to come down into Parc Fermé. Yeah, I now have it on my timing screen that the podium is confirmed. Emanuele Pastore takes the win from Leonardo Marquez and Okada. Takahira, Takamoto and Binder finish the top 6. Clark, Mendes, Turner, Mottola. Nathan Betancourt gets his career best result in 11th place. Well done, Nathan. That's a great job. Only 2 seconds from the win as well. And then it was Germano, Berti, Perez, and Britain's Greg Marshall scores his 2nd championship point in 15th place. So well done to him. Looks like he was in a great fight with Perez and Huntingford. And our final classified rider is Guimarães in 17th place. Riding then through the victory lane, and what a feeling that must be for Leonardo Marquez. As I said, a very appreciative crowd, as always. The AD78 team, Marquez on the podium. In a few moments' time, we will get the television interviews, and for the fans down here as well, they can come and celebrate on the podium. There is the confirmation then, Emanuele Pastore for the Arco Motor University team, and my goodness me, how many riders have come through that team over the years? Di Persio, Gonzalo Sanchez, so many riders that we could name that have come through this young racing team that also develops mechanics and various other technical staff as well. So fair play to all of the guys and girls involved there. And that's what it means to win in the Yamaha R3 BLU CRU World Cup. He goes across to the team. I can see Elisabetta also down there. And very, very appreciative. Big smiles there as well from the Japanese contingent. Pavel Skopek, the gentleman there with the glasses. He is the rider coach within the BLU CRU himself, a former World Championship point scorer, Supersport and Superbike. And now we wait, here it is. And you see there the applause from some of the other Italian teams. And so nice to see for this young man. He's a very, very softly spoken, very genteel youngster, but my goodness me, when he puts the helmet on, the elbows come out, and he absolutely does go racing. And look at what it means from his dad. He's the first one down there, and I love that. It's a bit of old school, isn't it? Of course, dad is down there with the tricolore. The team celebrating, and gives a huge hug to his dad. And now he goes and dives into the team. I can see Georgia down there as well, who's heavily involved with that team, with Di Persio in sport bike, and of course she works with Sam Lowe's in superbike as well. But so nice to see that. And of course, I'm sure everybody, to be fair, in the paddock are happy to celebrate the riders on the podium. But yeah, a 24th winner then. There is the Brazilian of Leonardo Marques. Great ride, I've got to say, all the way through there. A couple of riders on the floor, but glad to see that they were all up and about.
Thank you.
And when we do get to the podium celebrations, none other than Yamaha Motor Europe road racing sporting manager Nicolo Canepa, who of course has been on the front row himself. And I've now positioned myself in the backstage, looking at the scenes of so many fans down here celebrating in the sunshine. And just standing alongside me now is Nicolo Canepa, and he's got a big smile on his face, gives me a thumbs up as we wait then to hear from the riders. And it's thirsty work out there, isn't it, Hinata? Absolutely taking a lot of A lot of fluids on board, but let's hear from the winner.
Pastori, a debut victory in the FIM Yamaha R3 Blue CRU World Cup. An incredible battle. You must be very happy.
Yeah, it's been a crazy race, a lot of overtake. In the last lap, I managed to be in a good position, and I exit from the last corner in first position, and I win. I'm so happy. I want to thank my family, my team that always do an incredible job, and the people who support me from home.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, complimente. Congratulations then to Emanuele Pastori. As I said, I told you he was very softly spoken, but we could just make out what he was saying there. And that was the move, that was the incident on the final corner with Okada. And unfortunately, any chance of the win was gone, but he does hang on for his first podium as well. So I'll have to check my notes, but I think that is 3 first-time podium finishes. Pastori, of course, getting the win, but no, it wouldn't be 3 first-time podium finishes, would it? Ignore me. The sun's getting to me already, and it's not even 11 o'clock in the morning. Pastori has, of course, been on the podium, but a first-time win for him, and then Marquez and Okada also on the podium. Some of the scenes that you're now seeing then on the television screens, wherever you're watching around the world, and thank you for the tens of thousands of people that do tune in. It's a great feature in the World Championship. Here in World Superbike. In fact, it's the only championship in the world where they then get to celebrate this. How cool is this? As a rider, you get treated exactly the same way as if you're in World Superbike. The crowd are cheering and they walk through the fans. Must be such a sensational feeling from these youngsters, as looks like our race winner is being mobbed by a few fans that want a selfie. So we might have to wait a little bit longer. Nicolo Canama, Emanuele Pastori taking selfies with the fans, which is absolutely fantastic. So let's just wait and see when we are ready with all the riders. And there you can see the fans now running across to get into prime position. Italy, Brazil, and Japan. Here we go then with the podium. In third place, despite the moment at the final corner from Japan, Hinata Okada in third place. And a huge cheer as he comes up. In second place from Brazil, his first podium this season, Leonardo Marques. And an equally big cheer for him. And taking his first win in the Yamaha R3 Blue CRU Series from Italy, Emanuele Pastori with the tricolore. And the crowd here erupts with big smiles. And there is Gonzalo Sanchez, himself a former winner with that team. Great to see the camaraderie between these riders. Right, we're ready to move on with the presentations. Yamaha Motor Europe Road Racing Sporting Manager Nicolo Canepa will do the honors. And he begins now with the third place trophy to Hinata Okada. And I am sure there'll be a few words. Yeah, big smiles between them. Great to see. And now the presentation to Leonardo Marques in second place. And yeah, you can see as well, Nicolo, he's been there, hasn't he? He's come through the ranks from the stock 600s himself. He knows what it means to stand on the podium. And now, I am sure, the biggest cheer, the 25 championship points then, and the race winners trophy presented by Nicolo Canepa to Emanuele Pastori. And the crowd going crazy here. I'm not sure if you're picking that up on the television, but there's a huge cheer for Emanuele. And look at the smiles down there as the various team representatives get all of the social media. Absolutely fantastic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's have your respect for the national anthem of the winning rider, the national anthem of Italy. Congratulations to the top 3, the crowd very appreciative. Let's get the top 3 riders together, please, on the podium, and I'm sure there will be that photograph. I'm sure Leonardo and Hinata join together on the center podium, please. Let's get the official photograph. There we go, thank you very much indeed. And again, if you enjoyed that race, we're going to be doing it all again. The top 3 from an incredible opening race here at Motorland Aragon. Emanuele Pastore, Leonardo Marquez and Hinata Okada. The guys will stay on the stage just for a second because once we finish this television broadcast, I'll be coming out to have a chat to them. Great racing. Let's have a look then at the results for those that are still with us on TV. This is how the classified riders ended up. Pastore, Marquez, Okada, Takahira, Takamoto, Binder, Clark, Mendez and Turner. And then our next page of results will follow in a moment. 10th place to Angelo Motola, Nathan Betancourt, Salvatore Germano, Ruggero Berti, Francisco Perez and Greg Marshall. Huntingford just missing out on a point. There's the list of retirements. They all get another chance, of course, to go racing tomorrow. Let's have a look then at the championship as it currently stands. Charlie Mendez leading the championship from Ayman Boccanegra. Then it's Pastore who moves up into third. Riichi Takahira also there. Marquez moves up into 8th place joint with Chris Clark. A couple of riders not finishing there. Krabacher still hangs on in 15th place with 10 points. Nathan Betancourt moves up into the top 20. And then, of course, our final point scorers at the moment. 22 riders of the 23 have scored points. I told you it was competitive. Okay, well, from me, Michael Hill, thanks for watching. I'm going to go and get some refreshment before we go racing again. We'll leave you with some highlights from race 1, and I will see you tomorrow. And again, just because of the heat, we're going to let the riders go off to their media debrief. They will be back later on. Empieza a las 5 todos los pilotos en el Campeonato R3 World Cup. They will be back here. Congratulations to the riders. One more time. Come on, make some noise for our top 3. What a fantastic start to... Fantastic. Right then, we're going to get ready, guys, if we can, and if we can change the headsets, we're going to go racing. This is what's happening today.